If you're manifesting a specific person and you feel that reality hasn't quite changed yet, or you haven't seen the evidence to agree with what you're manifesting, you haven't seen the evidence that's making you feel more confident that all of this is working, well, hopefully this video is going to be the one to show you that you absolutely can manifest a specific person and what you need to do in order to do so, to successfully do it, and what maybe you're doing wrong and how to change that. Hello, my fellow flawless, limitless, sexy, sassy, saucy HBICs. How are you on this lovely morning, afternoon, or evening? How are you all? I hope you're all doing fabulous. I hope you're all choosing to be the versions of yourself that have exactly what you want. I hope that's what you're doing. I hope it is. As you can tell by my super nasally voice, I do have a bit of a cold. I'm actually feeling much better, just my normal voice hasn't returned yet, so please bear with me in this video. And if you're new to my channel, well, how you doing? I'm Kimberly, and if you are interested in knowing everything there is to know about manifestation, as well as, you like to get what you want in a relatively short amount of time, then you and I are going to be great friends. So why don't you subscribe and come back and see me? Thank you so much. Also, if you're new, I promise my voice is not normally this full of nasal stuff going on. I promise. It's a temporary thing. But I'm going to jump right in. Let me just say quickly that if you want to work with me in any way, shape, or form, all of that information is in the drop box below, including my 3 different channel memberships, where I highly encourage you to join the channel memberships and look into the VIP, the Advanced Manifestors. I bring it up all the time because that is the group that gives you access to all of the other channel memberships. So if you're someone that would like encouragement and would like to be around a group of people who are like-minded and are very encouraging, then that's the group to join. Not only are we going to deep dive everything there is to know about manifestation in the VIP Advanced Manifestors group, because it gives you access to the other groups, we also have a success stories / tips and tricks group. And we have a hot seat group where you can get into the hot seat and have like a 10 to 15 minute coaching call with me. So the VIP group is the one to go. It also gives you access to all the previous sessions, the previous groups. And that group has something sexy coming for it, as well as I do random private live streams with that group. Just saying, they're the babies, but babies in a good way. Like, they're my babies. They're my VIP group. So enough of all that. Let's talk about manifesting your specific person. Now, I have made probably over 1,000 videos explaining that, yes, you can manifest a specific person. So to me, that really isn't what this video should be about. I should think that we should all be well versed in the idea that it is possible. And you are manifesting specific people every single day of your life. I do think that when we are interested in one particular person and we have some lovey-dovey feelings for them, it automatically puts it in the category of, oh my God, this is going to be hard because what if I don't get what I want? Okay. We all have experienced, if you've been manifesting an SP, we've all experienced the fearful thought of, what if I can't do it? What if this is the one manifestation that I can't do? Or what if it just doesn't work on this person? So in today's video, I'm going to, as I usually do, I'm going to do a little referencing to Neville Goddard. And if you're new, I do like to say, or let me remind anyone who's been here with me, that I love Neville Goddard. I consider him like the big old granddaddy of the law of assumption. However, Neville is not the one and only person to ever talk about this subject. And, there are some things with Neville Goddard that maybe I don't 100% believe like you need to do in order to manifest. And that doesn't mean Neville's wrong. It just means, well, Neville's an individual and he has his own opinions on how this works. And he shared from that perspective, as I am sharing from my perspective and my personal experience. So we don't have to be diehards for the people we reference. I just want to say that. So if there's something about Neville you don't love, well, okay. You're an individual, and this is your world to have your own experience and decide what works for you. But we're going to reference Neville today. So, hear me out. What you sincerely believe as true of another, you will awaken within him. No one need be entranced in the ordinary manner to be helped. If the subject is consciously unaware of the suggestion, and if the suggestion is given with conviction and confidently accepted by the operator as true, then you have the ideal setting for a successful prayer. Neville goes on to talk about, how you focus on your specific person is really important. Where I think most people get this wrong is on the version they're focusing on with their specific person. Let me continue. Mentally see him in the state you want him to obtain. Within the circle of its action, every word subjectively spoken awakens objectively what it affirms. Incredulity on the part of the subject is no hindrance when you are in control of your reverie. Bold assertion by you while you are in a partly subjective state awakens what you affirm. Self-confidence on your part and the thorough belief in the truth of your mental assertion are all that is needed to produce results. Visualize the subject and imagine that you hear his voice. This establishes contact with his subjective mind. Then imagine that he is telling you what you want to hear. If you want to send him words of health and wealth, then imagine that he is telling you, I have never felt better and I have never had more. And mentally tell him of your joy in witnessing his good fortune. Imagine what you see and hear his joy. Earlier in this video, I mentioned you might not agree with everything Neville says. I might not agree with everything that Neville says. I think what's important here is when Neville is talking about hearing your person's voice. I just want to say, I don't necessarily believe that that is something we 100% have to do. And the reason why I think that is because when I was manifesting my specific person, while I was in a solo vacation, which we were not having contact, I spoke to him in inner conversations. If you're new, inner conversations is a technique where you mentally have a conversation with the person you're manifesting. Another way of doing those is hearing that person's voice. So again, that's how Neville talked about it, hearing the person's voice. But I will tell you that that is not what I did for my inner conversation. In fact, it was just me talking to him. I did not spend any time, making myself hear his voice in return to what I was saying or anything like that. And when we reconnected, he came back reciting nearly word for word some of my inner conversations with him that I did it the way I just explained. So that is why I gave the disclaimer that that's just one thing I'm not sure I think is 100% necessary for it to work. Now, back to Neville again. Listen to what he's saying to you. He's saying that your focus should be on the specific person in the state that you want your person to be in. Where I think most people get this wrong is, and it's because of the conditioning that we all have received to trust and believe at 100% what our five senses, even though I'm aware there are more than five, senses are telling us, that we as specific person manifestors can get very tripped up on keeping our focus on, let's say, the last version of your person that you intermingled with. I'm wording it like that because if you're in a solo vacation, if you're new to my channel, that just means break up. If you're in a solo vacation and the last conversation you had with your person, out of habit, we tend to focus on that last version of them, number one. Number two, if you are in daily contact with your person, then you might get tripped up on focusing on the current daily version of them that you've been intermingling with. And listen, if they're already showing up amazingly, then don't worry about what I'm saying. But if you're seeing your specific person every day and they are not showing up, reflecting your desire, reflecting your love, then that is evidence to you that you need to get the focus off of current version of specific person, which completely falls in line with what all of the gurus and mystics of previous centuries say. Deny your senses. Keep your focus on your imagination. Where I see most people, like I've already said, trip up, is we're so laser focused on who we think specific person really is right now. And I believe that we all get into that place where we believe the current reality around us. So the current reality you're currently inhibiting is we forget that it is the matrix. It is the illusion. So if we've been perceiving our reality, if we've been perceiving our specific person as being a version of themselves that is not interested in the love relationship that you're manifesting, we seem to believe, well, this is the reality I'm really in. Now, I've said this before in content. We tend to believe that what is physically around us right now and how we perceive it, that's the real reality. That's real life. So I'll use the example of manifesting a specific person, and possibly you don't have contact with your person. And maybe you are someone manifesting to be pursued by your person. So you are choosing not to reach out to them, which is perfectly fine. We're allowed to have our specific desires. But because you've experienced, let's just say the last week or more, you've experienced not hearing from your person, our mind can get so twisted in believing this is my real reality. My real reality is I don't hear from my specific person. They're not pursuing me. They're not reaching out. They're not contacting me. That's been my experience, Kim. How am I supposed to believe that I'm being contacted when I'm not being contacted? Valid question. I understand that. So logically and literally, I totally understand. And I would find it to be a little difficult to not perceive it the same way. That's all I'm saying. But it's trying to remind yourself. And this is why I say all the time, the best way to view your 3D reality to a beneficial to whatever you're manifesting way is to view it as being a part of your bridge of incidents and that you're currently living out the manifestation right now. So if you didn't get a text from your person yesterday, it's part of the bridge of incidents. It's not because you think that your person won't contact you. We can also have the habit of wanting to overanalyze, wanting to remind ourselves, well, why is it that I think they're not contacting me? Why? What was the last thing we said together? How were they in that conversation? Are you feeling resentful because they haven't contacted you? Are you feeling resentful, again, for anybody else manifesting SP, that they haven't just said the words that they want what you want? What are you sincerely focusing on when you think of your person? And if your person is not the version of themselves that you want in this moment, you are probably, without meaning to, consistently seeing them in the state that they might currently be showing up as. So when you think of them, it is important to think of them as being in the state of wanting to be with you, wanting the same relationship that you want to be in. Now, Neville also has made comments in his books about the ability of your specific person to be able to reject. Please understand that after reading that quote, also making a video on that quote, please understand what I believe Neville is referring to is if you in one hand are over here affirming that your specific person loves you, loves being in this relationship with you, you two are in a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship together, and over here, at the same time, what could not be true for them, right? This is what Neville says. What you believe that could not be true. If you are over here believing, convinced of believing that they don't want you, that they don't even want a relationship, that they're not interested in commitment, you're telling two different stories. You're in confliction. So again, what matters is not only that you believe that you are a version of yourself that can accept and believe that someone can love you, choose you, pick you, pursue you, cherish you, and that your specific person is the version of themselves that wants those things with you. What most people do is stay hung up on possibly if you were rejected, if they actually spoke the words that they don't want the relationship, they don't want commitment. So you have to remember, if the last time you saw your specific person and they were not interested in being in a love relationship with you, then we have to surrender that version of them. We have to let that version of your person go. It's time to start viewing them as being in a state of love, in a state of wanting a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship with you. It's not a question of whether we can manifest another person. Every single manifestation includes people. So to me, we don't even need to debate that. Every manifestation includes people. You are manifesting specifically every day of your life, your coworkers, your family, your friends. You're doing that without even thinking, right? You're in such a habit unconsciously manifesting specific people every single day, day in, day out. We sometimes put our specific person in such a special category that we view it as more difficult, when in fact we could just as easily manifest them if we would release the old unfavorable version of them. So take a quick look at what you've been authentically focusing on, because I assure you, it is never because you can't manifest that person. There is no rule saying you can't manifest a specific person. But what stories you're telling about them, what you're authentically believing about your person matters. I've said that before. Manifesting a specific person not only includes who you believe you are in the love category and who you believe they are. Those go together. And I think where people get most tripped up is the consistent replaying of unfavorable memories you may have had with your person, or just the fear of being rejected and never getting what you want being played in your mind. The constant battle in the mind. And some of you aren't even aware of the battle. What do I mean by that? Because, again, however you view your reality versus your imagination, if you believe that 3D reality is this like separate box sitting next to the imagination. You're viewing them separately. And what I mean is reality is the reflection of what you dominantly imagine or what you dominantly believe to be true. They go together. They are intertwined. And it's completely controlled and changeable. So if you want to manifest a specific person, what we should be imagining is them already being in the state of loving, desiring, choosing, pursuing, whatever words feel best to you, that they're already there. Our logical mind is what wants to trip us up and remind us about old experiences that weren't favorable, or even comparing prior relationships to this specific person. Or even if you're someone who's manifesting your person back a third, fourth, fifth time, it's comparing each time before. What was I doing? How long did it take? Why does it feel like it's different now? Why does it feel like it's taking much longer now? No, they're not comparable. I understand wanting to reverse engineer to see what was I doing with my mind, but comparing time frames, you are wasting your time and you are making things more difficult for yourself because we don't know the unfolding. We don't know exactly what it is supposed to look like. So the reality that you're viewing as not changed yet, isn't working yet, or just plain afraid of, so that's how we're perceiving reality, could very much be the exact perfect reality that you're supposed to be in to get the manifestation, which is why I go back to what I said earlier in the video, why I feel and what has definitely helped me is I view reality as I'm in the right reality and everything I'm experiencing is somehow, some way connected to me getting exactly what I want. And it has not failed me yet. I know that manifestation can feel like it's kind of like us against the world, us against reality. And it can feel daunting to completely go all in here and throw all of your trust in this basket. And I understand that. I was a very logical person as well. But again, I assure you, you are manifesting your reality. You are experiencing exactly what is playing around in your imagination. And if you haven't yet experienced what you want with your specific person, take a look today and only today, because it's not something we're going to keep questioning. What state of consciousness are you imagining for your specific person? And do you separately see them in the right now moment as not being that version of themselves because you feel you don't have the logical 3D evidence to back up what you're manifesting? Deny your senses. You don't need the 3D evidence to prove this is working and that this is true. You want that for comfort. You want it for comfort. You want it to feel better so that you can trust that manifestation is going to work. But that could be the one thing that is making your experience seem longer than usual. And by usual, again, you can't compare anybody else's journeys to yours. So everyone's journey is unique. I know sometimes we don't like that word journey because it maybe it implies to you that it means forever, and it doesn't have to be. I have had more people reach out to me about success stories with specific person over the last 2 weeks than I think forever. It's a bit of an exaggeration. People are showing up in the live streams, sharing their successes in the channel memberships. I'm getting emails. People are successfully manifesting their specific people all over the place. So it's not that you can't do it. And what's the common theme in all these success stories that I have been paying attention to is how they described themselves. And the common denominator is they finally went all in. They finally just detached from 3D reality and did their best to deny their senses, which goes hand in hand with detachment, and kept the focus on the self they wanted to be, or the state of consciousness of the wish fulfilled. That's it. That's all they did. They let go of a reality they no longer wanted to be in. And there are more examples in all these success stories that have come in, like I said, over the last 2 weeks, that their person was thinking about them the entire time. So you're on your person's mind. It's happening. But more than likely, you're wavering between what reality you think you're in and what state you believe your person is in. So see them as being the version of themselves that wants exactly what you want. And I'm telling you, you're going to have your experience. And on that note, as my specific person is pulling in right now, so it's time to go, I want to reassure you one more time. Listen, this isn't a question of whether you can manifest a person. Yes, you can. It's down to the matter of, are you bringing in the version you want? And how to do that? See them as being the version that wants the same thing you want. So on that note, I'll see you tomorrow.